Hello, my name is Donna Raymer, and I'm one of the librarians here at the Bedsole Library at the University of Mobile. Today I'm going to be walking you through the library website and talking in particular about nursing resources available to you through the library. I'm going to start by pointing out our library URL, and that's umobile.edu/library. And you can get to that lots of different ways from MyUM, from the university's website, or you can just Google University of Mobile Library. The library page has several things I'd like to point out. The first is the Discovery search box, which I really don't recommend you're using because it searches everything in our entire database, books, ebooks, and things in EBSCO databases, and it can tend to be a little bit overwhelming. It's like a really wide net. Instead, I usually recommend for nursing students to go to their nursing research guide, and you can do that by clicking on research guides. And then if it doesn't take you there, to all guides. And then by scrolling down to resources in nursing. And this gets you to your nursing research guide, resources in nursing homepage. I want to give you a brief overview of this research guide. You can see that there are different tabs. There's a home tab, and there's a little arrow here for a pull down for the library help desk. You can also see that there's a tab for reference sources and books. Articles, which is simply a master database page. A tab for internet sources where we've vetted internet sources in nursing, in your profession, and health sciences from all over the United States. And they're reliable sources of information. A nursing practice tab. A news tab with news feeds to keep up with current events in your profession. A page on copyright. We talk about new items, gray literature, PubMed and clinical queries, and how to execute those in PubMed. And then a PowerPoint assignment tab if you're making a PowerPoint and need some tutorials there. The best way to learn is by doing, and I've chosen 2 YouTube PowerPoint tutorials to help you with that. But today we're going to focus on this homepage, this landing page, because it has everything sort of distilled for you in one place. There's collection links on browsing the catalog if you want to do that, or searching the ebook collection, electronic databases as well. But I also have the databases in the middle pulled out. Databases in nursing, so you'll want to look at that middle column. There's also a section on citing sources, board vitals, and then there's a COVID statement up at the top. Okay, some of the databases we want to look at in particular are CINAHL. And then I just wanted to point out the Ovid Nursing Collection is broken out, and it's a collection of ebook titles in nursing. And finally, I wanted to point out the UpToDate Clinical Decision Support. You all will be using this as well. And I wanted to say that you have to create an individual account for UpToDate after authenticating through the library. We're going to click on that right now. Okay, so I clicked on UpToDate. It remembers me because I've already have an account. And it doesn't ask me to log in because I've already done so. If you are off campus, it is going to ask you to log in. And it's going to come up in this upper left-hand corner, and there'll be two boxes for you to put a user ID and a password. The user ID is your student number. The password is a 4-digit password, and we cannot disclose that publicly, but I'm going to ask that a note be placed underneath this video so that you will know what numbers to put in for your password since it's universal. Okay, but it's really neat because it does remember your search history. Like I searched for something last August and it still remembers that. So it's really nice because it's, you know, custom to you and what you're interested in and what you're looking for. So anyway, Up to Date is something that you do have to create an individual account for. Okay, I'm going to go back and we're going to look. Let's scroll back up again. To the CINAHL full text, the EBSCO database. And I apologize, I'm having to hold this and execute at the same time. I had some technical difficulties with my program I wanted to use. Okay, so you can see we're in EBSCO host and it defaults to a Boolean search. It defaults to applying equivalent subjects, but you could also limit your results to full text, which I'm going to do. Well, maybe I won't at first. Let's do a search on, what can we do? Let's do pandemic. And I think I did mental health. Yeah, pandemic and mental health. Okay, so I took full text off as a limit and we got 385 hits. If we ask to limit it to full text, it takes it down to 264 hits. Now, a word about full text and the reality of full text. Sometimes it will say that full text is available and it will give you a full text finder, but it will only pull up an abstract. And that's because the article has an embargo on it because it's really new. Like this article in particular is July, August 2020. So just because it says it's full text, it may or may not be full text. If there's an embargo, it won't be. Let's click on full text and see what happens. Okay, we have an abstract and we actually have the full text, which is wonderful. And you can also get that full text, I'm sorry, that's probably making you dizzy, as a PDF as well, and the abstract. It also gives you related items on the side, so those may be things you want to explore as well. Okay, so just know if it says it's full text, but it doesn't come up full text, it's because the publisher likely wants the institution to subscribe to both the paper journal and the online journal. And we used to do that when we had more room and other factors. But now us and a lot of other libraries only subscribe to the electronic. So we have to wait before we get those breaking kinds of articles. And I would recommend just going through results lists and trying to get what I can get full text rather than to interlibrary loan at this point. There's a lot of libraries across the nation who aren't open, who aren't working full capacity, and there's a huge backlog for interlibrary loans, and they're just getting a little more difficult to get. But if you want to, we can certainly try to get those for you if we don't own something or have access to it. Okay. You can also see that you may be able just to go directly to the PDF, and that's possible too. Okay, I want to point out a few other things because my time here is running out. Okay, so we're back at our main page. And I wanted to pull down at that little home tab up here, the library help desk. Okay, so the library help desk is full of information that may help you. Lots of FAQs are answered here. One of the most important is how to reach us via the Ask a Librarian reference service. If you click on that hyperlink, it's going to take you to a form to fill out, and it comes to me as an email. Please put your RAMS email in because if I'm at home working, I have to authenticate you as a student before I can give out certain information. But if I don't have to do that if there's a RAMS mail. Also, there is our phone number on how to reach us. And we do have librarians usually available 7:45 in the morning, sometimes 8 in the morning, until 6 p.m. I also wanted to give you one other tip about photocopying. Okay, there's a little white piece of paper there, and it is right by the USB portal on the copier. Sometimes, as you can see, my computer has been sort of slow to react. Sometimes it's sort of hard pulling the PDF notes off the network, especially if a lot of people are doing it, or if the network's really busy. So I recommend putting those notes on a jump drive and just plugging it into the computer to print them. And that's one of the biggest tips that I can give you. That way you can do it at any time, whether the library is open or not. And we're working on getting some computers moved out onto the floor, and that should hopefully happen soon. But just in case, it's a good backup to have that. I hope that this brief review has helped you become a little more familiar with what's available here in the library for you. I'm always here to answer questions. Again, Ask a Librarian. I can answer really in-depth questions for you. 251-442-2246 is our main library line, and we're available to answer questions for you there. Just be sure to check out your research guide, and I'm always updating it and improving it, and it was wonderful talking to you all today, and I wish you a lot of success, and thank each and every one of you who is working with this pandemic and keeping us healthy and our community healthy. We certainly appreciate you, and we appreciate you being students here at the University of Mobile. Thank you.